Important note, this video is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decision. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Here's your market briefing from Rumour with AI. Bitcoin's macro narrative is fracturing under the weight of sticky inflation data. The April personal consumption expenditures index hit 3.8% headline and 3.3% core, complicating Federal Reserve rate cut expectations. This pressure is visibly impacting Bitcoin's technical setup near $73,790. Despite bearish signals, Saylor is doubling down. His Bitcoin tracker update signals continued accumulation, with more holdings data expected next week. MicroStrategy's latest purchase has pushed the odds of Bitcoin hitting $78,000 by June 1 to 99.8%. The market is watching closely to see if Treasury strategy can override macro headwinds. On the macro front, the debate over Fed policy is intensifying. A lesser-known alternative price gauge is signaling cooling inflation, adding complexity to the central bank's decision-making process. This divergence between core PCE and alternative gauges suggests the economic picture is not as clear-cut as headline numbers imply. Investors are now weighing the likelihood of a delayed rate cut against the risk of prolonged higher rates. Meanwhile, global equities showed mixed resilience. The Saudi Tadawul surged 0.46%, led by a 9.96% rally in Kingdom Holding, which hit a 5-year high. However, the energy sector dragged on sentiment as crude oil fell 1.73% to $87.36. Technicals across global indices remain ambiguous, with no clear directional bias emerging from the current volatility. Looking ahead to today's release, the ISM Manufacturing PMI for the United States at 1400 hours Universal Time Coordinated is the critical data point. The previous reading stood at 52.7, indicating expansion. A drop below 50 could signal a contraction, further dampening hopes for early Fed easing. Additionally, China's manufacturing PMI at 145 Universal Time Coordinated, previously at 52.2, will provide early clues on global demand strength. If both metrics weaken, the narrative for a dovish Fed pivot will face significant headwinds. In related news, capital spending data from Japan at 2350 Universal Time Coordinated, previously at 6.5%, will offer insight into corporate investment trends. South Korea's exports at midnight UTC, previously at 48%, will also be closely watched for signs of trade recovery. These indicators collectively shape the global growth outlook. The interplay between crypto accumulation, inflation data, and manufacturing metrics is defining today's trading session. Traders are positioning for volatility as the Fed's next move becomes clearer. The market is waiting for the ISM data to confirm whether inflation is truly cooling or if it remains entrenched. Until then, Bitcoin's path to $78,000 remains speculative, reliant on MicroStrategy's continued buying pressure rather than fundamental macro support. That's your market briefing. Follow Rumour with AI for daily market intelligence.